Hola, bon dia. Welcome to Latin Music Station. This podcast is all about Latin music, culture, and people. Let's charge Latin energy and kick off your day with good vibes. Your hosts are Marika, who is Japanese Latina loving Latin dance, and
Tatsu, Latin music lover. Vamos!
Vamos! Okay, so this is our first time recording our episode in English. And our first guest is Glenn from Taiwan, who is the organizer of Taiwan Zouk Festival. Thank you for coming.
Hi, thank you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. So we actually, Katsu and I went to his festival a few weeks ago, and it was really, 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 really well organized and amazing. So that's
we had so much fun.
Yeah, we had so much
I'm so
fun.
glad to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah, so we wanted to invite Glenn to talk a little bit more about that, and also, so first of all, Glenn, could you briefly introduce yourself, who you are, why you started Zouk, etc.?
Sure. My name is Glenn Sloat. I'm from the US originally, and I moved to Taiwan in 2017. I came here kind of randomly on a trip one time, and I really liked Taiwan, and I kept coming back. And eventually I changed my job to so that I could work remotely. And I got involved in a dance studio. At the time, my girlfriend Mandy and her partner had a dance studio, so I got involved in that. And eventually, that studio was too small, and so I decided to open a bigger studio because I wanted to have a really nice place for parties and for more classes. And while I was here, I started getting more involved in Zouk. I took some workshops, like with Alex and Mathilde in Singapore. And I went to Zouk C. Some friends dragged me there. I always liked Zouk, but it was really hard to learn in Taipei because we didn't have any teachers. So I always had to travel. And eventually more people made online classes like during COVID. So we were able to learn and train a lot here by ourselves. And eventually we opened our own classes here. So I've been teaching here now since I think 2020. Yeah. And we've had our studio for about 4 years.
Wow, I see. So you just came to Taiwan randomly, like for vacation or what? Like,
well, it's kind of funny. Actually, I used to be married and I was getting divorced. And it's actually, there's an island, Guam. You know the island of Guam?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And many Japanese people actually visit Guam
great
for
island.
vacation.
Yeah, exactly. I saw a lot of Japanese and Korean tourists there. It was a very nice place for vacation. I went there because it's easier to get a divorce there than in California.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's some special rule. It's much faster and cheaper.
Oh,
so I went there, and then I thought, well, I might as well visit somewhere in Asia because I'm very close. So I visited Taiwan for like 5 days, and I just met some really nice people in some salsa party. And they told me, come back for this festival. So I came back the next year, and then I just stayed in Asia for a few months just traveling. And then eventually I went back to Taiwan at the end, and I was like, I feel very comfortable here. I made a lot of friends very easily. So why not just try staying here? So I rented an apartment, and I'm still here 7 years later. Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, how come you're so, like, how do you say, like,
spontaneous?
Yes, spontaneous. Like, normally,
kind of
like,
spontaneous.
even though people want to stay in, like, foreign country, like, they kind of tend to, like, okay, I want to live in this country, but I need to do this and that. I have this thing I need to do in my home country. Like, how about work and everything? So, like, how did you manage to, I mean, like,
well,
so?
I guess I had just been doing my same work. Like, I have a small company, and I had been working on that company for like 10 years with my ex-wife, and I had that company very settled, and I was just kind of bored. And I was getting a divorce, and she was going to move. Like, she moved to Japan actually.
Oh wow.
And I was like, well, I want to go somewhere too. I don't want to stay here. That's lame. She goes and lives in Japan. I'm just going to stay in the same small town. Like, I want to do something different. So when I started traveling, I was like, maybe I can live somewhere, So I just stayed a few weeks in each country, and Taiwan was the most comfortable. And then I was like, well, I already made my work, so it works pretty well working remotely. It's like, why do I need to go back? I can just sell my house, it's fine. So yeah, I didn't even go back to pack up my house. I didn't even go back to sell it. I just asked some friends to help me pack my stuff. I didn't have very much stuff. And my real estate agent sold the house for me. Yeah, I didn't even go back.
Oh, wow. That's really convenient.
Yeah, that's great.
I see.
Taiwan is really nice place to live and spend the time. Always warm and people nice and good food, of course.
Yeah, it's very comfortable here. It's very convenient, super convenient, and you can travel everywhere very easily. So, but the best thing is just the people here. I really like the people here, and it's easy to make friends.
Yeah, I noticed that it was my first time going to Taiwan a few weeks ago for your festival, and people were really, really friendly and nice. So I really liked the community.
Thank you. Yeah, me too.
Okay, so you said that you actually, for the first time, you went to like salsa scene for the dance venue, right? Like, when did you start dancing Zouk, and how did you make up your mind to start this huge festival? Like, you said that your partner kind of pushed you to do so, but could you elaborate a little bit more on that part too?
Well, yeah, I actually danced salsa back in college a little bit. I took some dance back then, but then when I got married, then my wife hated dancing, so I didn't dance for like 10 years. And then I started dancing salsa and bachata. I took some class in my town, and I went to some events and I liked it, but then I saw a demo from William and Paloma, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. I want to learn that. But it's so hard. There was like nowhere around where I lived, so I couldn't learn. So it was only because I went to Hong Kong and I took some workshop with Debbie and Camacho because a friend was organizing that. And then I just started always looking for those events. And I just enjoyed Zouk the most, but it was so intimidating. It was so hard to start.
Yeah.
Especially when you are a leader and like you feel very little confidence, and you go to the party. Like, I would fly to another country and take the class, and then I go to the party and I would just sit there and like, I don't want to dance with anyone. Even if somebody asked me, I would say no, I don't know how. Not good, please don't.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah,
I just started, so
I think a lot of leaders have this experience. It's really hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
But I got more into it, and eventually, after a year and a half, I felt like I could ask someone to dance at a party. It took a really long time. Yeah. So over time, there was more events, like in Singapore. I could learn more there because Cheryl Wu was always bringing people there. And then I had some people here to practice with. One of my roommates, Vanessa, and my girlfriend, Mandy, and some other teachers here. We all practice together. So then when we take the online courses too, then we get more and more into it. And eventually that's really my favorite thing. I wanted to focus on building that community the most. So that's why we started teaching.
I see.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, so first question is that when you start the dance where the practicing or like studio doesn't exist, it's really hard to find a practice partner.
Oh yeah.
Like, how did you find them? I'm struggling it.
It is really hard to find somebody that you can practice with. For me, we already had, my girlfriend Mandy had started the studio before with her partner, so they had salsa and bachata. So there was people that had danced a long time already in the studio, just not Zouk. And some people were interested. So basically, like, every good follower that came in the studio, I'd be like, hey, do you want to learn Zouk? Do you want to practice? Like, I know like these 2 steps, like we can try. So just ask everybody all the time. I'm just hanging out there, just try to get everybody to dance. And then eventually you find some people that you can practice with better. Some people that have like especially in the beginning as a guy, you have like no confidence. So somebody that doesn't hurt your feelings.
Right. Yeah, for me it's really hard because I'm also keen to learn how to lead, but I started as a follower, so practicing is so difficult to teach leader who doesn't know how to dance Zouk. I don't lead, so I don't even know like what's a good way to, like how to improve. So I feel like I need to learn lead first to grow the community.
Yeah, I think in that case, you probably want to learn leading.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have to spend the time going somewhere to learn the leading too. It's really not easy. It's such a hard dance to start a community for, because when you are like both beginners too, like a leader and a follower, it takes forever to make any progress, It's really a challenging dance.
It is.
Yeah, but if you put in the time, I mean, there's a lot of material now that you can learn from online,
Right.
So it's definitely easier now than when I was starting this back in like 2017.
Right.
True. Yeah, I will be patient and try. Good tip.
頑張ってよ。
頑張ります。Yeah, so I think in case of Taiwan, the community is really, really good and it's pretty growing. And I see a lot of young people dancing Zouk too. Currently in Japan, like both in case of Tokyo and also in Nagoya where I live, I feel that we need to recruit more younger future dancers because the community itself tend to have older people. But in order to be sustainable, I think younger people should also, start joining our community. How did you manage to do that in Taiwan? Because I see a lot of younger like leaders and followers.
Yeah, that is hard. Wow. Well, let's see. I would say in the beginning, like Zouk here, it used to be like there was just kind of a group of maybe 10 of us that there was one guy, Gigi, who he knew a lot of dancers that are Taiwanese, but they live outside Taiwan. And whenever they would come to Taiwan to visit family, he would ask them to make some workshop or something. So we would go and take the workshop. And so it's just a small group and we are like all pretty terrible. And eventually he makes, it was really bad. It was so bad because it's only like once every 4 or 6 months and we don't dance in a party. Oh my God. And then he started a party, but like we still don't know anything, And at that time there was, the crowd could be, I don't want to say the crowd was necessarily, crowd could be a little older. The crowd just had more people that weren't that interested in dance or didn't have the same drive to like learn because everybody's so bad. So you can come to the party and like you don't feel out of place because everybody's terrible,
Yeah.
But when we got some people that were like really into learning and we start training a lot and people get better, the level in the party goes up, then people that were not really interested in learning that much, they kind of stop coming by themselves eventually just because they're not, I don't know, they feel more out of place, that helped us just to, I don't know, just raising the level made the quality of the parties better. But if you want to say like the age specifically, I have to just say hustle, the hustle community, because they're much younger than the community that we were drawing people from in the beginning.
Right.
So they tend to be, they came from street dance and they're just like a younger generation. And a lot of them got into Zouk. So as more young people came from there, then they attract other young people too, I think. So
makes sense.
We were just really lucky because I think that's a big part of it, just this other community that got interested in it. So I wish I had some like magic secret that I could share with you. I don't know, find your local hustle community, maybe it's better.
Yeah, but actually
be very friendly with them.
Yeah, in Tokyo, like many people started to coming to Zouk. So
I know.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of them here because then we had the Hustle Congress here the week after, right?
Yeah.
So
I saw a lot of them on Instagram too.
Yeah, I went to the Hustle Congress and I was like, oh yeah, I saw all these people here too at my Congress. It's great.
That's cool. I see.
But it's so encouraging to hear that you guys started from like only 10 people community.
Yeah.
And then you just like, achieved the... How many people came to the last festival? Like over 300?
It's about 300 people. Yeah, almost 300 participants plus all the artists and everything, and about 110 of those were from Taiwan, something like that.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
That's
you
great.
said like more than 20 countries, like people
Yeah, there's
came
20
to Taiwan,
countries.
right?
Yeah. Japan was one of the biggest. It's Taiwan and then Korea and then I think Singapore and Japan were about the same. Yeah.
Mm,
I see.
wow.
Yeah. But I would say like
And
for us for growing the community, one really important thing was just there's basically there's two main organizers right now. There's me and Maggie at Bailalo.
Yeah.
And the thing is that we are good friends and we actually like
Mhm.
each other. And we in the very beginning we were both interested like at the same time. So we're going to Singapore together. We're going to a lot of places together.
Mm,
And so and we started teaching almost the same time. She started teaching like a few months before I did. So our communities, like our students all mix and people don't feel awkward about going to one place or the other. They go to both, or they start one, they
Oh.
change to another, or maybe they go back later, but everybody goes to the same party. So everybody dance with each other and it makes the feeling always very good. There's no awkwardness. It's like very smooth and everybody learns better because of this. So it just grows a lot more. And I think that that's
Yeah.
not common, not just in Asia,
Right.
but just everywhere. It's very uncommon to have that situation.
yeah, I think it's very uncommon because most of the time when there are like two studios or like three, they tend to kind of try to, you know.
Yeah, everybody's fighting over the same students,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really important that you guys collaborated.
Yeah, it's been very, very helpful. It makes it like, because otherwise, you know, if you have some conflict, it just adds a lot of negative energy into
Yeah.
this, and
That's
then
so
it
true.
kind of takes away your motivation, right? Unless you're just someone that's really competitive and like wants to crush the other person, and I'm not, so that wouldn't work for me.
True. Do you think it's good to have like a physical studio as a place for everybody to gather? Or like
Yeah, we both went to your studio at the after party, and then
Yeah.
it's so nice. They had a
Yeah.
pretty bar, and then two studios, and then everyone is like hanging around very happily.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean that place it's great. It's kind of like it's a community center, you know, like everybody knows that place and everybody feels comfortable there. So I would say, yeah, it's really helpful to have a place like that. But if you were asking me, should I spend my money to open a place like this? I would say no. I would say be very careful.
yeah.
I would
it's
say like
really
if you
hard.
want your own studio, just be very careful not to get something that's too big. Because
Oh.
mine is good because, okay, I have events. I have like, you know, when we do this after party, there's a lot of people. It's good I have a big place. That's
Yeah.
great. But most of the time, you don't need something that big.
Mm.
If you have a big place, you need to spend a lot of time finding other people to teach class or to rent it out. So sometimes you start the studio because you're like, oh, I want to teach Zouk. I'm going to build a Zouk community. But you're like, but I need money to pay the rent. So now I need to let these people teach, or I need to like find renters. And you spend a lot of time doing administration.
Yeah.
So I would say it's nice to have a studio for sure, but don't get something so big that it takes away your focus. Yeah.
Right. I see. So let's move on to the festival topic.
Okay.
So you said your partner kind of pushed you to do so, but
She just kind of suggested it. I'm very suggestible. I like
suggested
have-
to do so, but
Yeah, I just have you know, if I get something in my mind that's like, oh, that's a good idea, like I should do that, I have a really hard time letting go of that. So she just, I don't remember even what we were talking about. I think we were we'd come to some other festival, and I think we were just talking about that one. I don't remember which one it was. We were just talking about what we liked and what we didn't like. And we were talking about how like I was doing more weekenders, the community is getting bigger here. And I think we were saying, you know, there was nothing in Asia at that time because there used to be Zouxi, and then that died. And then there was Cheryl's event, which is Zouk Sensation, Singapore Brazilian Zouk Festival. And then that, you know, that died during COVID. Like she wasn't going to do it anymore after COVID anyway. So it's like, we really don't have anything in Asia. And she's like, yeah, you should do a festival. was just basically like that. She's like, you should do it. And I was like, no, it's a terrible idea. It's so much work. You'll never make any money. You'll just like struggle for a year. And then that seems very not sad. But I was like, but maybe I should. No. I kept saying no, but she didn't have to push me. Just like suggested. And then eventually I'm like, I think I can do it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So how long you were thinking and then decided to?
I think it was pretty quick. I mean, I think only thought about it for a few months before setting a date, because there was like more and more people we wanted to bring for weekenders. The weekenders were like being very successful. And yeah, I mean, we had William and Irene. That was like the first weekender we did after COVID. And there was like 80 people that got the full pass. And I was like,
wow.
whoa, this is a lot of people, you know, like a lot of people really want to learn. Jeez.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So we brought some other people, and then I was like, yeah, I think we can do that. And we started planning it, and we looked at a lot of venues. We moved pretty quick, and yeah, we just made it happen.
Wow. But the venue, the Sin Trend, it's so awesome.
Right? I love that venue.
That's unbelievable. I've been to like Europe festival and then US festival, and Taiwan venue is the best.
I know. I really love that venue. I feel so lucky to find that place. Because we looked at other venues. Originally, I wanted to do in a hotel because a lot of places do in a hotel. But in Taipei, it's super expensive. Like, ballroom is way too much money. So, not possible. And we looked at like maybe 3-4 other venues. There's not that many choices, actually. But when we found that one, I was just like, wow, this is, for me, it's perfect because it has all the natural light. And it has all the sound built in and the lights and everything. You don't need to rent. You don't need to set those things up separately.
Right.
And just the ceiling is so high. Like the air conditioning is good. The sound is good. The staff is good. I love that venue. I'm so fortunate to find that place.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine that kind of venue is existing in that kind of building.
Right?
I was like is it really here?
I know.
Like,
I was
when
surprised
I went there,
too.
I was like, am I going to the right direction? Yeah.
It's like a super popular like electronic department store, right?
Yeah.
And the rooftop is the venue.
Yeah, and I love how that venue, like you just walk outside and there's all the like the tea shops and there's like a lot of small shops and it's very fun to walk around. Yeah.
So how many people?
Very expensive.
It's expensive, yeah, but it's expensive, but I feel that venue is worth it. Like I don't feel bad about paying for that venue because it's really nice. There was other places that were almost as much money but much smaller, or maybe they're a little less but they charge you a lot of money to like rent the speakers, rent the lights, rent whatever. They add on a lot. This venue is very nice. They don't sneak anything up on you, and the staff is very good. So and you can control everything so easily. Everyone come through one door. It's so simple. Makes running the event very easy.
Wow, that's good. So how many people are like involving in running this event?
It's mainly me and Yu and Tyra. So I choose the people. I mean, they have input too. They tell me who they want. Like Yu was like, you have to bring Nina and Mateos. You have to bring them. And then I met them in person. I was like, oh yeah, I have to bring them. But like I will choose the artists and I do all the talking with the artists. I set up everything with them. I end up coordinating all the flights, handling all the money, all these kind of things with them. I do the schedule. I pick the DJs, all of this kind of thing. Then Yu does like all the logistics. So she will do like talk to the venue, talk to the hotel, set up everything we need, like coordinate all the staff, all the employees. So she handles all those details. And then Tyra does most of the social media. So she makes all the templates. She does a lot of the posting. She makes all the signs or videos. She handles the whole Instagram page. Like I will do the Instagram page when it's not festival time and there's nothing happening. But when it comes time to the festival, like I didn't even check it for like 3 days. So I'm like, so glad you were checking that and adding everyone's story because I didn't see anything. Yeah.
I
So
see.
it's mainly the three of us together, and then this time we had for staff we probably had like another 15, I can't remember how many, 15 or 20 people to help us work at the front desk or all around the venue. Yeah.
I see. Amazing.
Great
Yeah.
teamwork. Sounds like
It's a really good
Yeah.
team. Yeah, we work really well together. I could not do this by myself. It's so much work. Yeah, my part is already like the maximum that I can handle. So, and one you always tries to
Yeah.
make me. She tries to make me not lose money. She's always. I'm always like. I was like, hey, I have this idea. She's like, don't spend any more money. I'm like, no, but I want to invite this like special guest. She's like, oh, why are you doing that? It's like, well, whatever. It's your money. You can do it if you want. But yeah, she restrains me from losing more money anyway.
it's important.
Yeah.
They are one of the most important roles. I see. So what is, I mean, I think like running festival is so much work, but at the same time you have so many things that you like enjoy or gain through running this festival. Like what is the most amazing thing about organizing this festival?
For me, like I like to travel, go to different events, and I always meet a lot of cool, interesting people, like amazing dancers, but also, you know, they have like a different way of speaking. They come from a different culture. They have their own ideas and point of view. And I just, when I see these people, I'll think like, oh, I really like this person. And I think people in Taiwan and Asia would like them. And I want to bring them back. And I want these people to mix, you know, and it's not always artists too. It's also just like people that I meet, participants or other organizers, other teachers. So for me, it's like I like to kind of collect people that I think will enjoy each other, you know, and then sometimes, you know, some people you can invite, you can pay to bring them. They will come for work, you know, they will enjoy it, but they come for work. Other people you need to convince them because you cannot hire everyone, and you want your friends to come,
Yeah.
you know. So if you can actually convince, like I convinced some friends to come all the way here, you know, from the US or Australia, and to see it, and then they had a really good time, and I see like, oh, this is what I expected. Like I look out at the party and I see my friends from the US dancing with people from Taiwan, and I had told these two people about each other, you know, and I see them enjoying each other.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, it feels so good. Or you see people posting, you see people just making new relationships, even you know, they came from different countries and they meet somebody and they're like, oh wow, I really enjoy dancing with this person or meeting this person. They have some new experience. When you see that happen, it's like, oh, that happened because I worked to put this together. That's why they're able to meet. It's very satisfying. It's like when you become a DJ. Like first you're a dancer and you enjoy dancing, you know, you're just dancing with one person. And then you become a DJ, and in the beginning maybe you're like, it's fun, but like I wish I was dancing. But eventually you watch everybody and you're like, oh, but I am responsible for creating this vibe, this happiness for these people. Then the next level, like when you become an organizer, you're like, oh, you know, like everything together, it's like it can be very emotional when you see you see people really enjoying and having an experience that they will treasure, hopefully for a long time. It makes it feel very worth it.
Yeah, it's really, I really appreciate your team and your efforts, because for us living in Asia, sometimes it's really hard to, you know, go extra mile to go to the festival. But since it's held in Taiwan, many people who live in Asia can actually easily visit your country and enjoy. So thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for coming. Thank you for all your kind words.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks so much.
So everybody who is listening to this podcast, if you want to experience this amazing thing, then next year you should go to Taiwan.
Thank you.
Did you already book the venue for next year, or?
No, I'm still deciding on the time. I'm gonna make it a little later in the year next year.
Okay.
Yeah, but I will try to find the dates very soon and then let everybody know.
Wow.
Yeah, let us know when it's decided. We can actually post on our podcast too.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, Katsu, do you want to say something at the
Yeah,
end.
just like I want to ask any like new ideas or like your vision for dance community in Taiwan or Asia. Anything you're thinking about for a future plan?
Yeah, well, I would say I think the biggest problem in Zouk in Asia, it's a problem everywhere, but also in Asia, it's just the ratio. Always the ratio. It's difficult. Always more followers than leaders, right? Always more women than men are interested in learning, and they're usually more serious too. And even if the guys should come to the class, sometimes they don't come to the party. So the women come to the party and the guys all disappear. So one thing I did in Taiwan Zouk Festival, well, first I worked very hard this last year to go to many festivals and bring some followers from Taiwan to try to convince more leaders, hey, you should come to Taiwan. We have really good followers. You should be there. But I feel like we need to find a way to train more leaders to bring them up faster, to give them enough confidence and enough tools to actually social dance. And so one thing is we need to figure out how to teach men better to do this. But the other thing is we need to teach more followers how to lead. Because I think this is the easiest and fastest way and most useful way to make the ratio better in general. So this is one reason that I wanted to bring Julinia and Devlin this year, and I had them teach together, because I met them many times and I always see, oh, they're such great leaders, and I love to watch them lead. And then they did their demo where they're like switching.
Yeah, it was really amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool, right?
Yeah, it was really cool.
And I did some little groups as an experiment of like some experienced follows. I had them come do small group training just to teach them to lead, and it's so much faster than teaching guys from scratch, So
right.
I think I'm going to I want to figure out how to get more men involved and I figure out how to do this better. But I also want to get more followers to learn leading, because actually a lot of them, when they learn it, they also enjoy it a lot. And then I see that in the party, like it already helps our scene. You will see in the party there will be several women that are leading now, leading quite well. So to me, that's something that I'm thinking about a lot and looking at working on. Yeah.
I see. I should learn how to lead too.
Yeah, you should. You'll enjoy it. And honestly, when you learn to lead, then you understand your own role better too,
Yeah.
It's good to learn both.
True.
So I met you first in Madrid, right? That was the first time I met you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, wow, Japanese person is here. That's so cool.
Yeah, I think actually that was I haven't done Zouk for like less than 6 months.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. I started Zouk last year, May. And then I was super into it. So I felt like, okay, I need to go to some festival. And I used to live in Spain. And I've never been to Madrid yet. So I was like, okay, this is the one. So I went.
So did you go out just for that festival?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Very enthusiast.
All right.
And then she already went to Brazil like this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
to the Congress.
I went to Rio Zouk Congress. It was amazing.
Yeah, she's super hyped right now.
Oh, I think you have
put
a
all
bright
my
future.
money. I hope so. I hope I won't be broke.
Yeah.
Because I put too much money into Zouk.
Yeah, you're going to have to work very hard in the community in Nagoya because you won't have any money to go anywhere else soon.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So I think we talked a lot. Maybe it's time to
thank you so much for a super interesting interview, and so much fun. And
thank you so much for asking me.
Yeah, thank you.
I went on your podcast before. I was like, oh, let's see what they talk about. I was like, everything is in Japanese. I have no idea. Okay.
But now we are increasing more English interviews. That's applying. And you're the first guy. And thank you so
wow.
much.
Wow, what an honor.
You're the first one.
ありがとうございます。
ありがとう。
ありがとうございました。
谢谢。
不会。